डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन युनिव्हर्सिटी.
Hello, Namaskar. Welcome to this Journalism and Mass Communication course and MA video lecture course from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University online session. Today again we are going to initiate semester 2 basic English language skill course of MA in Journalism and Mass Communication. The code is 05 and we are going to initiate semester 2 basic English MJMC 05 semester 2 course. So let us start from onwards today, unit number 1, part number 1, and the first topic, that is the easiest topic of the grammar, it is the modifiers. You can see over here the MJMC SAM-02 basic English MJMC 05 code. The subject is language skills for mass media, and we are initiating unit 1 part 1 modifiers. So let's start our work right now. I am in front of you Dr. Ushma A. Bhatt from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. Look, first of all, before initiating anything, you need to understand what is the actual meaning of the word modifier. The word itself suggests us the meaning of that particular term modifier. To modify, to identify, to modify in the sense to add something, to edit something, to say something about the particular thing which is going to come in front of you. As for example, when there is a noun, naturally you think that the words that say something more about the noun is adjective. Simply we can accept that, and we have to accept it, that the modifier could be considered the adjective, because the adjective says something more about the noun, and in the same way the modifiers play the role of telling something more about the nouns. Sometimes they tell something more about the verbs. That is why they could be considered the adverbs as well. So clearly you have to understand that the modifiers are generally utilized for adding something. They modify something. The definition is written in front of you. A modifier can be an adjective, adverb, or a phrase or clause acting as an adjective or adverb. Look, here it says that the modifier sometimes add something. As for example, here is the pen, but when I utilize the word the black pen, the black word suggests something more about the pen. That is why it plays the role of the modifier. The principal, the modifier adds information to the another element in the sentence. The principal in the sense, the main sentence. When the modifier, the whole modifier adds something more about the main sentence, it could be utilized as phrase or clause. As for example, we can say, she is the girl who stood first in the class. So, she is the girl is the main sentence, but who stood first in the class will be considered as the phrase or the word that could be utilized for the main sentence. As it is written over here, the modifier adds information to another element in the sentence. It adds information. As for example, she is the girl who stood first in the class. Who stood first in the class would be the clause. it is the noun clause because it talks about the girl, it talks about the noun, it talks about she is the girl. In the same way, there could be the adjective clause also, there could be the adverb clause also, there could be adjective clause, adverb clause. In the same way, adjective phrase also or adverb phrase also, because almost all the phrases and clauses generally add something about the main sentence. I think you have to remember the structure of the main statement and the subordinate statement. As for example, here is the main sentence: the children play in the garden. This is the main sentence, and the phrase would be: the children play in the garden where the flowers are rosy, the flowers and roses are sprinkling. Then where the flowers and roses are sprinkling, that could be known as the adverbial phrase for the in the garden. How is the garden? The garden is the place. So adverb, you have to remember about the adverb, that there are three kinds of adverb: adverb of place, adverb of time, and adverb of manner. Then you are supposed to remember the adjective and the adjectival phrases, and in the same way you have to remember the clauses also. Phrases and clauses, if they are clear in your mind, then you will be in a condition to understand the topic of the modifier. So I advise you sincerely that before initiating to the modifiers, just go to the topics of adjective phrase, adverb phrase, and adjective clauses and adverb clauses, noun phrase and noun clauses, and then only you will be in a condition to understand the modifiers. Now let us go and understand the single word modifiers, adjectives and adverbs. Now as I told you that there are phrases and clauses, in the same way there could be a single word also which could be considered or kept as the modifier. It applies to phrases and clauses which act as modifiers. Look, there is a saying that modifiers are utilized for the adjectives and adverbs, but of course one single word could also play the role of the modifier. As for example, the beautiful flower, the word beautiful is the adjective, but the same word beautiful could be kept as the modifier also. It could be considered in the category of the modifiers also. So modifiers are not a new thing for you. You have to accept and understand very clearly that they are merely modifying the sentences, they are merely modifying the main element of the sentences, or sometimes it happens that they are modifying particular words or word phrases. Written with clear, concise and effective news story. The modifiers are, there are list of modifiers which you could remember and you can keep them in your record. We must initiate and read those modifiers, and you should write those modifiers while you are doing your work, while you are doing the grammar work. So make a list of those modifiers. They are in front of you. I am reading it. Once the operation was over, Charan walked slow out of the hospital. Look, the slow word is the modifier over here. We tried really hard to get the marks. Really is the modifier. Then third one, Shalini plays sitar well and Veena badly. This is also a modifier. Now split infinitives, squinting modifiers and usage of comparative and superlative degree. Conjunctive adverbs or adjectives with linking verbs, adverbs and adjectives. let us go and understand the list of modifiers which are mentioned in front of you. Look, using adverbs and adjectives, adverbs modify the verbs. Generally, there are two kinds of modifiers, adverbial modifiers and adjectival modifiers. Adjective modifiers, generally they are coming, mostly it happens that they are coming in the beginning of the nouns or pronouns, and when we discuss about the adverb modifiers, it happens that they mostly prefer to come after the verbs or they mostly prefer to come before the verbs, but their position should be very much important because they are the adverbial modifiers, so they must be adding something about the verb, about the action of the sentence. And in the matter of adjective modifiers, they are the nouns and pronoun modifiers. Adjectives are the noun and pronoun modifiers, so they prefer to come sometimes before the noun or after the pronoun, but they must be adding something more about the nouns or pronouns. These are the two things which you have to keep in mind while understanding the modifiers. The examples, here there are examples. We tried really hard to get the picture perfect. Look, try is a verb and the people had tried really hard. Really hard means really shows how they had tried. They had tried hard, they had tried very much, had they tried with little efforts. So the action of the sentence is trying, and trying is edited by the words really hard to get. So really hard to get is of course the adverbial phrase over here, because you know that really hard is the adverb and the words which are connected with the adverbs are known as adverbial phrases. Here it is the adverbial phrase really hard to get, and it could be underlined. Of course it is in the red fonts so that you can define it well and easily. Now try to understand the second sentence. Shalini plays the sitar well, but Veena badly. Veena plays the sitar badly. The whole sentence is this. Shalini plays the sitar well, but Veena plays the sitar badly. So playing is a main action of the sentence, playing of the sitar, but one plays the sitar well and another plays the sitar badly. So the action of the sentence is again mentioned over here with two adverbs, well and badly. Here well is the adverb and it generally is coming after the sentence verbs modifier. Plays the sitar well, and in the last adverb you can see but Veena badly. So here again the modifiers are coming in the end of the sentence. You have to find that where the modifier could be kept. It happens that modifiers are adverbs or adjectives, but where they come in the sentence is very much important because their position plays the big role in the grammar. If they are not kept in a proper position, if they are used in the middle of the sentence, or sometimes it happens if they are used in the end of the sentence, then the sentence would be the wrong. She defended that she was well enough to superscribe the data. She defended. To defend is the verb over here, and that she was well enough to superscribe. Was well enough to superscribe. Well enough to superscribe is adding something more about the verb. That's why it is an adverbial phrase. Here again you have to underline the words well enough to superscribe. The fonts which are in red colored, they are denoting that they are the adverbial phrase, and they are actually the adverbial modifiers as well, because we are understanding the topic of modifiers, which is very important. And here you can see that these are the modifiers, well enough to superscribe the data. So naturally, the words that talk something more about the about the verbs, those are adverbial phrases, and here these are the adverbial modifiers which we had seen. Now there is one another line which is also mentioned over here in the beginning of the topic. You can see over here, adjectives modify the nouns and pronouns. So as you are clear about the adverbs and adverbials and adverbial phrases as well as the modifiers of playing the role of the adverbs, we are supposed to understand the second part of these modifiers, which are known as adjectives playing the role of modifiers in accordance with the nouns and the pronouns. Look, again adverbs, and then afterwards we are supposed to understand the adjectives. Look, here it is about the adjectives, but before that there are 2 points of adverbs which we can take afterwards. First of all, we are supposed to understand the adjectives and the forms of the adjectives and how they are utilized as modifiers. Comparative form of the adjective or adverb to use compare exactly two things. One has to form the comparative by adding the suffix "er" to the modifier or by using the word "more" with the modifier. Look, it happens that there are many kinds of comparative degree forms and they are the adjective forms. As for example, there are two words smart, then there is a word smarter in comparative form, and in the same way there are the words which could be known as utilized with more word, diligent and more diligent, intelligent and more intelligent. In the same way, sharp and sharper. So out of these two "are" and "more" modifiers, which comes as adjective form and which are used for the adjective modifier, that you have to find. Examples are written in front of you. Of the two designs, the fashion designer is convinced that the panel will select the more experimental one. The more experimental one. Of course, this is a modifier. It modifies the word the more experimental one, the adjectival modifier. Now that it is December, the days are getting shorter. How are the days? They are getting shorter. Again, the days and the idea of becoming shorter is talking about the days, so it is again the adjectival modifier. He is convinced that his daughter is smarter than his cousin's daughter. He is convinced that his daughter is smarter than his cousin's daughter. So here again there is a comparison between the two, but the comparison itself talks about the adjectival modifier smarter than. The last one we can see, Laurel and Hardy are the funniest comedians of the children's program. The funniest again is the word which shows that it comes as the modifier for the noun comedians, the funniest comedians of the children's program. So here these are the adjective modifiers, but we have to again understand the adverbial modifiers which we had already completed, yet there are some other conjunctive adverbs which are left and that we have to understand in the end. So here let's go for the next topic, the conjunctive adverbs. They are also the modifiers because they modify the verbs. They modify in the sense they add something more about the verbs. The conjunctive adverb is a special kind of adverb that often serves as a transition between two independent clauses in a sentence. Now look, it looks very clumsy and ambiguous, but I simply tell you that it is merely talking about the linking of the two sentences. Two sentences are connected with each other with the help of one particular word. As for example, there is a sentence, she is Sita. Another sentence, he is Ram. She is Sita and he is Ram. Both the sentences are connected with the word and. In the same way, the conjunctive adverbs are utilized with certain words which are very formal and very popular. They are however, moreover, nevertheless, consequently, and furthermore. These could be utilized in any kinds of sentences, and if there is a scene of adding the sentences, compilation of the sentences, combination of the sentences, then they could be utilized. Of course, they are also known as modifiers. A conjunctive adverb at the beginning of the second independent clause. Be sure to precede it with a semicolon, not a comma. Look, it happens that they are generally utilized in the second part of the sentences. If there are two sentences and it is the matter of longer sentences, it is the matter of principal sentence and subordinate sentence. That is why I have been telling you that before understanding the topic of the modifier, one has to be very much clear about the statements, the subordinate sentence, the principal statements, the noun clauses, the adjective clauses, the adverb clauses, noun phrase, adjective phrase and adverb phrase, and afterwards you can go for this topic of modifiers, because modifier is merely the outcome of all these things which I have told you. And that's why let's go and understand again a conjunctive adverb. It generally takes the semicolon or a comma, and how it comes, that we have to understand. Look, there is the sentence which is written over here with the help of the modifier however. She is used to drink coconut water, however she likes Arjun Chal chai too. Look, however, in the sense it adds something about the sentence. As for example, if you put the sentence she is used to drink coconut water aside, keep it aside and make one sentence, the subordinating sentence in the beginning, however she likes Arjun Chal chai too, then it may play the role of the main sentence, the principal sentence. This is the main activation of the benefit of the subordinate adverbial phrases as well as adverbial modifiers. Moreover, he belongs to India. Moreover, he likes our Hindu culture very much. You can use this and part, the second part of the sentence known as moreover, he likes our Hindu culture very much, in your own terms, in your own write-up also, without utilizing the beginning part of the sentence, he belongs to India. Mere adjoining of the sentences is done with the adverbial modifiers. That is what is the utility of the adverbial modifier. Nevertheless, this is again an adverbial modifier. I have much tasks to finish. Nevertheless, I remain present in Ram Pran Pratishtha Mahotsav. It shows that the person is quite busy. Nevertheless, in the sense, still he or she remains present in Ram Pran Pratishtha Mahotsav. So here again adverbial modifier plays the role of adding something, telling something more about the verb, and that verb is remaining present. Then the last two, consequently and furthermore. Mr. Sherman is the successful, diligent fellow. Consequently, he becomes the company chief executive officer. So consequently, the sentence, this second part of the sentence plays the role of showing the result, showing the things that happens because of the first sentence, and that particular adverbial modifier is known as word consequently, and it shows the result of the sentence. So again, let us go for the last one. Furthermore, the Sattopanth trek is very difficult in Uttarakhand. Furthermore, the whole Himalayan mountain range treks are high altitude treks. Furthermore, in the sense, adding something more about the first sentence. The first sentence could be kept Equally, in an individual form also, the Sattopanth trek is very difficult in Uttarakhand. Then there could be kept full stop, and another new sentence could be started. Furthermore, the whole Himalayan mountain range treks are high altitude treks. So basically, the idea is to understand the adverbial modifiers with a view to understand that their role in the sentences is generally to link the two sentences. You can see two sentences are linked with each other, are linked and connected with one another, and there becomes the one sentence, one statement, that is the complex sentence, having the principal sentence and again showing the subordinate sentence in the particular form. Again, we had already discussed about the adjectival modifiers, so this part is done. The list of conjunctive adverbs, look, those which are added, they are listed in the previous slide. You can see over that slide. Additionally, again, almost, anyway, as a result, in addition, besides, certainly, comparatively, elsewhere, equally, or henceforth, or finally, that which we have been frequently using in our speech. All these are conjunctive adverbs. First of all, you will think that what is that particular word, conjunctive adverbs, but when you come across all these frequently utilized adverbial modifiers, you will be in a condition to understand them very easily. So the topic is over here. Wish you very good luck. God bless you all.
स्वाध्यायः परमम्